Hi guys, I'm going to do roast pork again, crispy skin Chinese style roast pork. I've got my pork belly there, and I've got all my condiments. So that's fermented bean curd. I don't have rice wine, but I'm just using a bit of port substitute. The sea salt going on top. That's to dry the skin out. White pepper and 5 spice powder, which is inside there. Now, I do have this instrument for creating the holes, to perforate the skin with tiny little holes, but this thing is pretty sharp, but doesn't really make much of a dent. So I'm going to give up on that. And I'm going to use my 23 gauge needle. So that's what I'm going to use, 23 gauge precision needle. And I'll take that out, hold on to it, and stab this pork a billion times until I have zillions of little holes on the skin. The point being that this allows the skin to become quite crispy skinned. Anyway, I'm going to spend the next half an hour stabbing the pork skin. You're not supposed to scab it down into the meat, nor really into the fat, but I don't think it really matters when you have such a tiny gauge needle. I don't think you really want to be bored by all this, but this is my 23 gauge needle, and I'm just spending a long time poking holes everywhere. It goes in quite easily. It's getting a bit blunter now, but it penetrates the skin. I don't really want to go into the subcutaneous fat, but you really have to. I'm going to marinate the flesh. I'm going to put some cooking wine on it. Well, whatever it is, 1.5 tablespoons. It's probably enough. I've got a teaspoon of 5 spice powder on the left, and white pepper. Mix it up and sprinkle that on top. So just mix it up a wee bit. It's supposed to be salt in this as well, but I'm not going to use salt. That's what the recipe calls for. Yeah. Alright. I'm just going to use one lump of this fermented bean curd to provide the salt, and I'm just going to rub that in. Oops. A bit tricky doing this one-handed. Then I'm going to let this, turn it over and let this sit in the fridge overnight for 12 hours at least. And I think that's good enough. Alright. So that's all done. I've dried the skin off with a towel, and now I'm going to put that into the fridge. Going to leave it uncovered. Whoa. Yep, it's going to stay there uncovered for the 12 hours. The pork's been out of the fridge since this morning, and it's now nearly 5 o'clock at night. I've got some tin foil I've wrapped around the edges to keep the salt in. But first of all, I'm just going to brush it with white vinegar. I've got a tablespoon of white vinegar here. I'm just going to brush the skin, which it says helps to conduct the heat more evenly. Don't know how that works unless it breaks the fat or something down. But anyway, I can't argue with recipes, except I've never done this before. So maybe it'll work better. Then I'm going to put all this... Ignore the dog. Then I'm going to put all this sea salt on top, or kosher salt. Okay. Got my natural coarse sea salt. Stuff's very cheap. So I don't really want it to go onto the meat, make it too salty, but these can't be choosers. Anyway, and I was just going to check my oven. I preheated my oven to 180 degrees, and I think it's actually 180 degrees now. That's good. So it's in the oven now, and the fan's come on, so I guess it's reached the right temperature. I'm going to leave it there for an hour, and then take the salt off and put it under the broiler or the grill, and do that for another 30 minutes, and it should be done. So we're running at 30 minutes under the broiler, so I need to turn it around. So it needs a little more work. If it burns, you're just supposed to just scrape off the burnt stuff. Okay, alright, another 30 minutes. 15 minutes rather. So we're actually at 20 minutes rather than 30 for the broiling. And I think it is all done. So I'm going to take it out now. So that's the finished product. I've got a few burnt edges, which is quite common, because that means that you actually get it all cooked properly. Okay, one area there that hasn't risen, but otherwise, now to cut it. And the meat looks pretty well cooked. Alright, sorry for the noise, but thanks for watching. People here to eat.